Hello, I'm back to tell you another story, and I have a clue about what today's story is about. What do you think today's story could be about? You're right, it's about dinosaurs. This story is called Gigantosaurus. We love it in my house, so some of the pages have had to be sellotaped back together because we've read it so much that they've torn. I really hope you enjoy it. Gigantosaurus. Many million years ago, beyond the path of the lava flow, on the edge of the jungle where the herbivores grazed, 4 little dinosaurs spent their days, playing in the Cretaceous sun, following tracks and having fun. And they're just here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The dinosaur mum said, "Beware, my child, of the Gigantosaurus so fierce and wild. With teeth as long as you are tall, he'd soon make a snack of one so small. His feet go stump, his jaws go crunch. In the blink of an eye, you'd be his lunch." The Gigantosaurus sounds very scary. Bonehead, Tiny, Finn and Bill went off to play upon the hill. The Gigantosaurus was on their minds, till Bonehead said, "I think you'll find we need a lookout and I'm the best. I'll get a good view from that termite nest." But it was only a minute before Bonehead cried, "It's the Gigantosaurus! Quick, run and hide!" Thud, thud, thud. They ran, they hid, they shook with fear. The Gigantosaurus was coming near. But there was no stomp. There was no crunch. No fierce monster had smelled his lunch. "It's just Triceratops," Bonehead laughed. "You ran, you hid, you're all so daft. But you passed my emergency warning trial. Now I think I'll keep watch from that rock a while." So it was just a test. And really, it was the Triceratops dad that was coming, not Gigantosaurus. But a little bit later, Bonehead cried, "The Gigantosaurus! Quick, run and hide!" Bum, bum, bum. They ran, they hid, they shook with fear. The Gigantosaurus was coming near. But there was no stomp, there was no crunch, no hungry beast after snacks to munch. "Ha! It's old Diplodocus!" Bonehead cried. "You ran, you hid, you're all so daft. But danger lurks as you need to learn. I'll look out from that enormous fern." It was another trick. Sneaky Bonehead. I wonder what's going to happen now. It didn't take long till they heard a shout. "Gigantosaurus! You'd better watch out!" Thump, thump, thump. They ran, they hid, they shook with fear. The Gigantosaurus was coming near. Oh, there was no stomp, there was no crunch, no carnivore with a whiff of lunch. It's Stegosaurus, ha ha ha, Bonehead laughed. You ran, you hid, you're all so daft. But at least you've passed my final test. Now I'm going to nap in that comfy nest. There's Bonehead laughing. And now he's going to go for a nap in a nest. Then, seconds later, the cry began. Gigantosaurus! Run as fast as you can! But though his friends heard what Bonehead cried, by now they knew that Bonehead lied. That's it, said Bill. We're off to explore, and we're not going to play with you anymore. There's Bonehead in his nest. And the other dinosaurs know he's been lying, so don't believe him. No one left to trick. Bonehead was alone. He began to wish he was back home, for an awful noise was coming near, and now there was good reason for fear. Their feet went stump. The jaws went crunch, and the Gigantosaurus had his lunch. He's enormous. Bonehead's friends came running back after they heard the tree go crack. Poor old Bonehead, it's such a shame. What a sad end to his naughty game. Even though he tricked and lied, at least he taught us how to hide. Burp. But then they heard a muffled cry from the scraps of the nest that lay nearby. I'm here, it's me. I have survived. I'm sorry that I tricked and lied. But this time, honestly, it's true. There's a pterodactyl after you. And though Bonehead thought they'd run in fright, his friends just shrugged and said, yeah, right. And that's the end of our story. There's a little bit of information here though, all about dinosaurs. Some of the names are so tricky for me to say, but I'm going to give it a try. Down here, the first one we have is an Ankylosaurus. A full-grown adult weighed as much as 5 or 6 tons. Then we have a Stegosaurus. This dinosaur's spiked tail is called a thagomizer. We have our blue Triceratops. This dinosaur had a huge skull. It was 1/3 the length of its whole body. Oh dear, this is the one I find really hard to say. Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus. I hope that's right. Let me know if it's wrong. Paleontologists think this dinosaur's large crest was used to make sounds. Here we have the Brachiosaurus, a truly huge herbivore. That means he likes to eat leaves. Tiny's mum will grow to be even bigger than Diplodocus. Pterodactyl. There's no such thing as pterodactyl, but that's what most people call pterosaurs, the flying lizards. What Bonehead meant to say was pteranodon, or more specifically, Quetzalcoatlus, but he couldn't pronounce that. Here we have the Diplodocus. So big There's the top of his neck and it goes up and over and down. Diplodocus, this giant dinosaur, had a comically tiny brain. That means really funny. And on this page, it says Gigantosaurus. This scary dinosaur was made up for this book. But there was a dinosaur a lot like this one called Gigantosaurus. Oh, that's hard to say. It was the largest known theropod, a meat-eater dinosaur that stood on 2 legs. Bigger even than the Tyrannosaurus rex. Gigantosaurus was a name given to some scattered bones found in England and Africa. But it was all such a muddle that science has never used the name since. Very interesting. Let me just find the picture of the Gigantosaurus again. We only saw him once. Oh, here he is. Thump, thump, stomp. Ooh. There's that Gigantosaurus. I'm glad he didn't eat Bonehead, even though he kept tricking the other dinosaurs. That's our story. Gigantosaurus. Bye.